Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago here. We'll get the camera straight here. Hey, there's the Wrigley building. Yeah, what do we got? We got May the 19th, 2025 here. We got about 50 degrees here. Maybe it's 49. This is noon here. Jason, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, we got a bike taxi here. Look, you got to get under a blanket here because it's that type of a day here. It feels like a fall day there. They're under the blanket there. There goes the bike taxi. At least there's bike taxis here. We'll cross the street here. We're at Lake in Michigan. And we zoomed out all the way here. Yeah, so here's the carbon building there. There's Nando's and Nutella there. They got the windows closed today. But here, oops. There's, no matter where I go, people are trying to squeeze by here. Hey, there goes the train. There's the good. So there's the green line. Head around, we'll head over by the L tracks here. We're crossing here at Michigan Avenue. Hey, you're back in the sweatpants there, Chris. How's it going there? Thanks for tuning in, Krista. Stephanie, how you doing there? Yeah, we got a semi truck trying to run me over. Chris, how you doing? Chris Schultz, I mean. Yeah, we got Chris Gustafson. We got Chris Schultz there. Well, Chris, hope you had a good weekend there. I know Sean is not feeling good there, and Anita's dealing with everybody give a prayer there for Anita's parents there. I think her father's have some health issues there. I don't want to divulge too many things. I got to be careful there because people let me know stuff's going on. And I want to be people know, so people can send prayers and positive vibes people's way. But then I got to be careful. I don't want to spread false information. Sometimes I don't have all the information there and I'm confused just like everybody else. But hey, thanks for tuning in here. We'll head into the loop here on a chilly Monday morning here. Monday lunchtime. Monday lunchtime. Yeah, so what's shaking here? Let's see, there's the parking garage. It looks like a car grill there. I guess they're having some musicians at Daily Plaza. I don't know I know Friday they had the food trucks, but we were up in Wrigleyville for the White Sox were playing the Cubs there that Friday there. Here's the Harold Washington Library, or I said it again, Harold Washington College. Harold Washington College there. See, my mouth just started saying library, even said college here. Here goes the train here. Let's catch the train. Heading across here. Yeah, this is a nice view here. How you doing here? Appreciate it. Hey, look, there's an orange line heading through here. We'll head down Wabash. There was a guy desperately trying to talk to me. I'm just trying to film the train. He was like stalking me. I'm just trying to film the train. It's always interesting. Everybody's got an angle there. I guess I look like a tourist because I'm filming the train. Who else would film the train? You know. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago here. It was funny, like, he was so desperately trying to talk to me, and I was trying to film the train. And everywhere I went, he kept like trying to, maybe he was going to grab my phone. Very interested in whatever I was doing. How you doing there, Michael? Krista, Naya, how you doing there? Yeah, what's shaking? Yeah, Michael, oops. I'm always off guard by people riding the bike on the sidewalk. We got nice white sidewalks here, but everybody's gonna do whatever the hell they want to do. People ride motorcycles on the sidewalk, drive cars on the sidewalk. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? That's good. How you doing? That's great. Yeah, it's good. We're getting the deep purple here. Friends and neighbors saying hello there. They saw me walking by. That's good. So here we'll go by. Oops, got a car turning here. Yeah, let's head over here. I'm surprised they didn't honk at me. Hey, Lorraine, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in from Ireland. That is awesome. Yeah, people tuning in from all over the world here. Yeah, they got the coffee here. They got coffee inside of the Macy's. See, he's taking a picture here too. I'm not the only person. Take a picture of this beautiful facade. Yeah, let's head over to State Street. Let's see what's shaking here. Yeah, so I'm pretty tired here. It's just a manic Monday. I'm depressed. I'm depressed because I realize every single day, and I guess I have to accept it as part of Chicago, every single day for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to answer questions about O Block for the next 50 years. And so now my strategy is, I'm going to roll it into what is the current president doing to help out O Block, the people that live in Parkway Gardens. What is the current president doing to address the affordable housing crisis? What is the current president doing to help out the racial disparity of equity in our city? Anytime somebody brings up O Block, I'm going to use it as an opportunity, not only to talk about the drill hip hop like Odie Perry and Chief Keef and King Von and all the great hip hop people that, you know, we've lost. I mean, you know, thankfully Chief Keef's still with us, but we've lost, you know, Juice WRLD, and we lost, but, you know, and so, you know, it shows you it's still in the conscious. Even 15 years, what O Block is, 15 years ago, it was perceived, rightly or wrongly, as the most dangerous block in Chicago because of, there was rival gang warfare, or, yeah, warfare, whatever you want to call it, gang rivalries. And the people that lived there, including the hip-hop community that lived there, got caught up in it, and a lot of people died. And there's the King Von mural, and every day when we walk to work, we had somebody this morning, and if you don't address it, they'll accuse me of being all kinds of bad things if I don't talk about it. But if I do, I have to talk about it every single day because they'll just keep coming back. So again, I'm going to, anytime I'm going to reference, what is the current president doing to help the situation, the people living in Parkway Gardens? Does the president even know or care? You know, and you can criticize Biden for not caring, but what about the current president? You know, and I can foresee him making the situation worse, as Biden probably did too, you know, and so two wrongs don't make it right. I don't mean to be talking about politics, but anytime, everything's political. You stream in Chicago, you got to talk about O Block. You got to be prepared to talk about it, and I am. And it's just the least common denominator. And here let's head back over to Wabash here. I want to go back over by the train tracks here. Actually, we'll go one more block here because, yeah, look, here's the Reliance building, one of the first steel frame construction skyscrapers here. Here's Block 37. Let's say somebody wants to talk about O Block, but you want to talk about Block 37, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Yeah, long leave King Von there, too much to see. You know what I'm talking about, too much to see every single day. Why do we get this question over and over again like it's the only thing that happens in Chicago? Chicago's bigger than O Block. And again, it happened 15 years ago. Some of those people have been gone for 15 years. You know, there's a motorcycle heading. This is State Street. The tulips are mostly gone. They removed most of the tulips here. We're heading down towards Madison and State here. Hope you're having a good day. We got about 49 degrees here in Chicago. Yeah, it's a cold day there. And we'll head over to the Carson Prairie Scott, the Gothic Target. There's the charity. See, watch. Let's watch this engagement. Let's see if they make my day here. And I'm live streaming. Let's see how rude they are to interrupt my live stream. Let's see how rude they are. So, hey, I'm live streaming. Can I just walk through here? Thank you. Can I just walk through here? Appreciate it. Thank you. Can I just walk through? I'm live streaming. Can you appreciate it? I'm live streaming. Can I just walk through here? Appreciate it. Thank you. That's good. So here. No, that's okay. No, I appreciate it. It is a public street. Thank you. How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir? I like your hat too. What are you guys selling? Yeah, right. All summer long, I got to deal with the charity. Charity all summer long. So good. So here, we'll keep on going. See, look, they didn't sell me anything. My strategy worked. You just act like a crazy person, and they'll start treating you like a crazy person. And I am a crazy person because I'm losing my mind live streaming. So here, look, now we can film this. Look at this. Here's the Louis Sullivan. There's the Louis Sullivan See how his name's in here. Here's the Gothic Target here. Look at that. And there we go. It's good. So here, I got the power now. Now I feel like I got some way to combat. For years I've been walking by. There's charities like that all over, and it'll be going all summer long, where you'll be going up Michigan Avenue. You'll see it later, and I'll interact with them in weird ways. I like going out of the box because they'll give you a compliment, but they're just trying to sell you something. They'll try to, it's just, they're trying to get your credit card information so you sign up for some charity. It's great. You can sign up for charities. You can do it on your own. You don't have to do it on the street under high pressure sales tactics. And they're just doing their job. I have no offense against the people, but nobody likes the charity. People asking for charity on the street, nobody likes them, just like nobody likes telemarketers. If you accept a job like that, you have, just like a live streamer, what I do, you have to accept that somebody's not going to like what you're doing, and I accept it. Here stood old St. Mary's. Yeah, there used to be a church right here. So right here at State and Madison, there used to be a church right here. It's good. So here we'll head up. We'll head down Wabash here, Jewelers Row. Yeah. How you doing here? How's everybody? See, Jewelers Row. Jewelers Row, Chicago Land Park. Since the early 1900s, Jewelers Row is an important center of jewelry silver here in Chicago. Here comes the Round Line. No, we could make a game of this. Anytime somebody sees a charity person in a public street, you're allowed to yell at them. You're allowed to harass them just like they harass you. You're in a public street. Now, do not touch them. Do not defame them or use slurs or anything. But you're allowed to use your First Amendment's free speech right to tell them not to talk to you and to leave people alone. Just like this. Isn't it so funny that the city has laws that against soliciting? If you're a panhandler or if you're a homeless person asking for people, they can get. But if you're for a corporation and you're asking people for money, shouldn't we be able to take back our streets and be able to walk down the street without being solicited for money every single day? Every time you go, like we get it enough online, and maybe the city makes money off of them doing a permit. City sells off our parks and streets. Good riddance to the Bears. The Bears are going to go to Arlington Heights. I will not promote the Bears anymore if they move to Arlington Heights. There's the there's the Palmer House Hilton. There's the Palmer House Hilton. Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, let's head down to Miller's Pub here. Let's see what's shaking. Hey, Lambie. Christopher. Hey, Christopher. How you doing there, Christopher? Hope the weather's better now. I know it was raining last time we talked last week, but someone on TikTok, someone stole my logo and created a fake account. They called it Brian Reilly. This is on TikTok. They used my logo and they were soliciting my followers and trying to impersonate me. I reported to TikTok. TikTok said they were not violating the terms and conditions, even though they stole my logo and they used my name, and they're trying to actively misrepresent themselves. And they've even left, just like to taunt me, they leave likes on videos, and they leave likes on videos that they take, and they steal for themselves. And the funny thing about it is I think they like my content. They're just trying to make money off of my content a second time. Isn't that amazing? Famous for Canadian baby back ribs here. Miller's Pub here. We show this all the time here. Yeah. So here, we'll keep going here. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I don't trust TikTok at all. TikTok is a horrible business partner. And that's why people are like, oh, you should quit your day job and you could just be a live streamer. I wouldn't trust TikTok to pay my bills. I wouldn't trust TikTok to be a reliable business partner. They're horrible. And that's why we're on YouTube. Look at the top of the Sears Tower here. Yeah, so here comes the 151 here. And we'll head down Adam Street here. And we'll head towards the Sears Tower here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. How you doing here? This is the Loop of Chicago. We're going to head towards Adam and State here. How's everybody doing here? We got JJ Fish. We got El Greco Burritos here. We'll go by the Broadway Cafe. And we got these nice little storefronts. We got Jimmy's Euros. Go to Jimmy's here. Yeah, daily specials here. Get the Get the Euro, get the Chicago style hot dog there. He's eating it there. How you doing there? How's everybody doing there? Happy Monday. Yep. Yeah, I know. Well, actually, Christopher, you know and I know that most of the people, the people that call themselves influencers, which you and I are content creators. I consider you a content creator as well. I consider that a compliment, not because I don't think you're in this trying to influence people either. But most of the influencers make money off of brand affiliations, just like if you're a skateboarder there and, you know, some certain skateboarder manufacturer sponsors you. The same with, you know, influencers. They'll get the women to push the makeup or whatever thing they're selling there. And we know that probably the people making the most money off of TikTok are people on OnlyFans. And they're not making it through TikTok. They're making it through their own sites where they publish their own content. Here's State Street. We just crossed State Street. And the New York Times just had an article about the harms of the sex worker industry and online PORN. It is having an impact on society, and we none, you know, I have to acknowledge that too. And here we'll go by Burkoffs. Here's Burkoffs. Here we're on Adams Street here. This great German restaurant. They got the #1 liquor license. We've gone in there before. You can go there for lunch here, Burkoffs there. It's been, you know, open and closed and starts and stops there, but at least it's still going now. And this is on Adams Street here. Look at the top of the Sears Tower. Look at that nice view. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's much more than YouTube. I agree. Yeah, and that's the people making the most money are brand affiliations, and they'll direct you to other websites outside of these, and they'll just use live streaming as a way to, you know, get eyes on the screen and direct them to their other thing that they really make money from, which is not this. But here's the Federal Plaza. There's the Calder Flamingo sculpture there. Yeah, let's cross the street here real quick. And here's the Federal Plaza. And that's back to the artist. This is Route 66. And it goes over to Ogden here. We'll cross here. So here's the Marquette building. We go inside there, that beautiful glass tile mosaic. I do need to get in the Fine Arts building. I know people, somebody called it the Studebaker Theater. I forgot it was called the Studebaker Theater at one time, because the Fine Arts building, remember Studebaker, first they made coaches for horse-drawn carriages, and they made cars. They were called Studebaker. They had offices all over the United States, but they also had offices in Chicago, and that's the Fine Arts building there on Michigan. Maybe we'll get over there before we head back there. We'll get over there eventually, but here we're on Adams Street here. Thanks for tuning in here. I just like that I was able to throw the charity guys off guard. I consider that a success, because they have tormented me. Literally, I am not joking. And if you're watching and you're a charity, I have been tormented, harassed by people on Michigan Avenue asking for charity for years. And just like a telemarketer, you become deranged dealing with them, because you see them and you know they're going to engage with you. And I've tried every different strategy. They got an answer for it, because they're out there all day, and that's a hard job to have. But I severely dislike the charity people in the street, because I consider it an invasion of the public peace. You know, that everything, even the streets, you know, number one, you have to deal with panhandlers. You have to deal with confidence people, scammers. Don't trust anybody. Don't give your credit card to anybody in the street. I don't care if they're legit or not, if it's for the Special Olympics or it's for God itself, you know, for some Christian charities. You can't trust anybody. Just like somebody cold calls you on the phone there and wants to, you know, they're getting grandma's credit card number there, and there goes the whole bank account, you know. You can't trust TikTok, you can't trust YouTube, you cannot trust the government, you cannot trust anything, you know. And it's a shame that's the way the world is. That's the way the world is, and by all means, do not trust a corporation. Here's the Rookery. I want to. If I do ever go into politics, I'm going to start an anti-corporate party. That the whole point of the party will be to limit the power of corporations and what they have over society, and trust. And AI, be the anti-AI party, I think we could get a lot of traction, just like for people that want to vote against the power that all these social media companies have gathered, all forcing AI without paying for the externalities. And there will be externalities for AI. It's already giving wrong information. AI can be racist because it picks up on the racism of our society as a whole, and the answer that comes back is racist. We've seen that before too. So even artificial intelligence is racist, and I know racist is used over and over. You know, I have problems with it too because I grew up in a society. I'm influenced by our society just like everybody else. And I got my own biases just like everybody else. I admit it. And I'm struggling to overcome it just like everybody else. Here's the Board of Trade. Here's LaSalle here. We're down by the Rookery. Look at this great view we get here at LaSalle Street. Heart of the loop of Chicago here. There's the Rookery. And here we'll head over towards the Sears Tower. What time we got here? That's looking north on LaSalle Street. Yeah, how you doing there? Micronite filters. Yeah, the cleanest smoke. Yeah, definitely don't trust the government. I agree with Dolores there. Yeah, the online panhandlers are really annoying. I agree. Thanks for understanding what I'm talking about here. But here, look, you can't even see the top of the Sears Tower. The Sears Tower is in a cloud here. So it's hard to see, but there is a, there you can see the tippy top there. You missed the dancing panhandler? Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to take any questions about George Floyd. George Floyd was, of course, Minneapolis. This is Chicago. And thanks for tuning in here. Of course, I lived through the 2020 aftermath of the social unrest of 2020, which it wasn't just George Floyd. It was COVID. It was a lot of stuff was going on in 2020, as we remember. And all these storefronts were boarded up. I did come downtown there. There was like nobody downtown. There were homeless people that took over bus shelters and were living in bus shelters like they were condos. And people think the streets are empty now. You should have saw what they looked like in 2020. It was like what Dan filmed with the day that New York City died. New York City the same way. There's the 311 South Wacker here. We'll head over towards Franklin here. Yeah, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Hide your kids, hide your wife. How you doing? Hey, thanks for all the Alario Jose Valencia. How you doing there? Yeah. What's shaking here? Mama Goo, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, thankfully his door closed. It was making a bunch of noise. Hey, it comes open again there. Look, there comes out the truck there. Hey, we got Kermit the Frog. Yeah, Kermit the Frog's got some. There's Miss Piggy there. Oh, look at that. I guess this is for this watch here. They're selling the watches there. The begging strips, is that like the you know that I saw, it reminds me of those commercials. They sell those begging strips for the dogs there. Yeah, they're like bacon. The dogs like the bacon snacks there. Here's Franklin Street. So what time we got here? 12:27. Yeah, we'll cross the river. I just want to see if they're still doing construction on the Union Station here. They were doing construction on Canal Street. We're underneath the Sears Tower here, and we'll head over to Wacker Drive here. Your old office building there? Yeah, what's Tex saying there? I don't even know what Tex is saying there. And Tex thinks they're being funny there, but there's nothing funny about what happened to George Floyd. And if you think it's funny, you got problems, because I don't care if you're on the side of the police or you're on the side of George Floyd there. It's not funny. It's tragic. It was tragic for the police officer. It was tragic for George Floyd and his family. It was tragic for America. And if you want to celebrate or joke about it, that's your own prerogative. But we'll let you. We'll put the onus on you, Tex. Thanks for tuning in here, and everybody else here. sometimes people just want to joke and make flippant comments. It doesn't come over well when the comments scroll, especially when we don't have context or know what they're coming from. A lot of people don't like the city for political reasons, and we acknowledge that, and I accept that. But again, it's beyond my control. I'm just a guy walking around at my lunchtime. Don't take it out on me and my followers or my people tuning in here in the chat. And let's keep it civil here and try to be like real people here. Look at here's Wacker Drive. I feel like Chevy Chase and Caddyshack. Let's just act like we're real human beings. She's like, oh no, we don't want to do that. We want to stay in our fantasy world. It's more fun. Well, we got 49 degrees. Maybe it's 50 now. There's the full height of the Sears Tower there, 1,400 feet tall. There's the Sears Tower, 110 stories. You can go to the observation deck on the 103rd floor. And this is Wacker Drive here. Let's head over to the Chicago River. Let's see how it looks like they're still working on a canal. They got a sprung tent structure over a canal because it's a 2-level street there. Of course, there's railroad tracks. You know, this is not the ground here. We're actually above the ground here. The Ray Street's near the South Branch of Chicago River. But there's the new BMO Tower, and that's the tower above the Union Station metro tracks there. Hey Matt, how you doing there? Yeah, we'll go by the Civic Opera House. I'm gonna head up that way. And please don't give me directions. I know you're giving me suggestions. It makes me feel like a horse. Like, you know, go right, go left. I know that's not what you intend, but after 2 years of live streaming, it gets, no matter where you go, someone wants, you know, there's many other things to see around here, and I try to point them out. I got many reruns, but you're going to see what you're going to get here. Thanks for tuning in. Here's the Chicago River South Branch here, and we were over here last Wednesday. We caught a little bit of the Basco Bridge's opening for the sailboats over here, and here we'll go over to Riverside Plaza. There's, looking south, you see how they got a map of the loop on that building there. Here's Union Station. So yeah, let's just head up. Hey, look at all the pigeons and the geese there, right in the heart of the city. There's a goose. All the pigeons are roosting here next to the hydrangeas. But there's Union Station. See, they're working on canal. That's what I want to see, so I'm not going to go over there. We'll just head up along the river here, and we'll get you nice views of top of the Sears Tower in the clouds. There's the Mercantile Exchange. Yeah, and there's the back of the Civic Opera House. And we can cross and go under the colonnade there, because it's pretty interesting walking under the colonnade on Wabash for the Civic Opera building. But there's the Mercantile Exchange, the Merc. It's too open-ended of a question. Chicago, I've lived in Chicago for 26 years. It works for me. It has problems. I'll be the first to admit this city has problems. It has high taxes, high crime. It has cold winters. It has high cost of living. People don't like this city in America because of we represent a political divide. We're a sanctuary city. We have a lot of migrants that have been bussed up here by Texas, and then Texas taunts us. And so, you know, or the Texas governor, I should say. Here's the Evening Star. I have nothing problem with the people of Texas. Some of them are my relatives. We visit Texas often, and I have no problem with the people of Texas or the state of Texas. I'm just saying about that particular situation. And this shows you the horrible divide we still have in this country between the red and blue states, but they're actively trying to undermine each other. And blue states do it to red states too. You know, it's been a long time coming. But as long as the stock market goes up, no one cares. There, look at the shoreline sightseeing. It's an architectural cruise boat. But, you know, in the summertime, Chicago's great. We have a bunch of street festivals. I do like the lakefront. We got a free zoo. We got a lot of nice museums. We have beautiful architecture. We have a nice history, interesting history, a violent history with Prohibition and even O-Block. We were talking about it before. And, you know, the violence of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s continues to now. Urban, you know, gang warfare, things like that. And the war on drugs. War on poverty caused a lot of crime too. Here's yeah, where we at here? We're at there's the Mercantile Exchange here. There, we got the light. So here we're This must be Monroe. This is Monroe and Chicago River, the South Branch here. We'll head across these plazas. These plazas we're walking on, there's railroads underneath us. So when you enter Union Station from the north, you're actually underneath these plazas. And they built most of these buildings on air rights. This building, that building, all these buildings on this side there's right underneath us, there are railroad tracks. And when we cross the bridge, I'll show it to you. I'll show you underneath here. You can look right down to where you catch the train there. And a few of the tracks go straight through, most of them just stop. And then there's ones that terminate at the south end. Yeah, it's about 49 degrees here. It's about 49 degrees. We're pretty chilly today. It's supposed to be chilly most of the week. We probably won't even get above 60 for the 5 working days of this week. We'll be in the 40s and 50s, which isn't untypical of May weather. Many times, you know, like we warmed up, we had 80s last week, but then it won't last long, and then we'll go back to this kind of chilly fall-like weather here, even though the trees are turning green here and we're getting the bright sunshine of August. This used to be the Chicago Daily News building. It's called the Riverside Plaza. See how it's Art Deco? This whole building's built on air rights too, including the plaza. There's the Civic Opera House. So hopefully the person was asking about the Civic Opera House. Hopefully you're still tuning in. There's the western side of it, the back of it. We'll cross the street there and we'll walk right underneath it here. I'll show it to you here, the Civic Opera building here in Chicago. You ever seen Citizen Kane? They use this in Citizen Kane. And it was a massive building. It was mixed use. It was an opera house with offices, and there were other uses in there. And right on the river here, the same with Riverside Plaza, Chicago Daily News, which is no longer a newspaper. And here's the Chicago River here. No, this is Chicago. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. This is the Chicago River. There's the Riverside Plaza, 2 North Riverside Plaza. That's up to the Salesforce, the old Boeing building, Bank of America building. And then there's the Mercantile Exchange. Thanks for turning to YouTube. We already got images of the Sears Tower. We see underneath here, that's all the railroads are underneath there. And underneath these buildings, there's railroad yards that go into Union Station. And behind there, you can't see, that's where you catch the water taxi. And then that's the old Butler Brothers warehouse, which was like Montgomery Ward's back in the day. But here's the 25-26 season Lyric Opera. There you go. There, look at that. There's the water taxi. There's the Shoreline water taxi take-a-lay going through there. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, New York City's got the High Line. I know Christopher Dotson's, he streamed the High Line there, and you know, you can go down by Fulton Market there, maybe on the Brooklyn side there. They got some riverfront esplanades by the East River there where you can catch the ferry there, or the water taxi there in New York City. They do have bike lanes that go along the Hudson there, but they got all those wharves and stuff. So yeah, New York City, it's harder to access the waterfront because of all those wharves. But some of those wharves, you know, you can go the one where they got the aircraft carrier and stuff like that, and that you have to pay for some of those things. I don't know. But here we're in Chicago. Here we're gonna go by the Lyric Opera. See, look, they got the Joffrey Ballet. They got all the performances here. This is Wacker Drive. Wacker Drive. Look at these buildings. Look at the gleaming office towers here on Wacker Drive. So there's the Sears Tower. See how it's in the clouds here. And here's the Lyric Opera of Chicago. See that sign up there? Look at that detail. Here's the 25-26 season here. You can check this out. Go to lyricopera.org there. But here, we'll just head under the colonnade here. Look at this beautiful. It's a block long here. And look at you see here's the Civic Opera House. Look at the box office interest here. And thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, the one in the High Line in Midtown Manhattan is spectacular. It's really interesting. Yeah, we got the 606, which I filmed from the 606, which is pretty much a bike trail on the, west side, kind of northwest side. But that goes over the streets, and it kind of tries to get inspiration from the High Line. But the High Line, yeah, you don't really want you riding bikes up there, but it's really heavily used by pedestrians. It's on the west side of Manhattan there, over by the Javits Convention Center. You can catch it there, or down towards, it goes all the way almost towards, not quite to Greenwich Village, but heading that way. I watched a documentary about Max's Kansas City, which is right north of, like, what is that called? Washington Square Park, near Greenwich Village. It's there in Park Avenue, right in the middle of Manhattan. Anybody remember Max's Kansas City? It was a punk bar, but it also was earlier associated with Andy Warhol and the Velvet Underground, but then it became a punk bar along, like, with CBGB's. And anybody remember Max's Kansas City? You go up to the second level there, and so many great acts went through there. And the restrooms were much cleaner there than CBGB's, but that doesn't mean much. I've been to CBGB's, and the restrooms were really scary. That was the scariest part of the CBGB's, using the restroom, just like the exit in Chicago. The rest, you wouldn't want to see the place with the lights on. Old Hilly had a dog and would just let the dog crap over the floor and wouldn't clean it up. So CBGB's kind of smelled, and kind of went with the ambience of the whole area. Of course, the Ramones, Television, Blondie, but of course, don't forget Max's Kansas City. So here, let's show you the behind the Bank of America here. They got a riverfront walkway here. It's kind of interesting. So here, yeah, the Civic Opera House there. Hopefully the person that asked about it before was tuning in. You were lucky I was just walking by there anyway. See, we were across there. And here we'll head back to the Bank of America there. Germany, how you doing there, Barbara? How you doing there? Thanks for tuning in, Barbara. Yeah, and Solo. So the High Lines in New York City, somebody was asking about, the comparison in New York City to Chicago here. Hey, here we're underneath the Bank of America Plaza. Here's the Washington Boulevard. There's the Boeing building. And this is the South Branch Chicago River. We'll catch this. Chicago's leading lady. So you can just sit out here, bring your lunch, sit out here by the river, and watch these boats go by. Isn't this nice? Yeah, tortellini fettuccine. How you doing? Yeah, Mr. Submarine. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Mr. Submarine. Yeah, welcome back, Barbara. Sage, how you doing there? Thanks. We got 127 people tuning in. That's great. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Yeah, last week, how you doing? Last week we hey, thanks for saying hello. That's good. What a good spot. What a good spot to read a book here. He's got the right idea. I hope I didn't interrupt you there. Yeah, it's good. So good. Yeah, see, he's hanging out here, just reading a book here under the Bank of America here. And yeah, friends and neighbors there. There's Chicago's leading lady here. And that's awesome. There, Randolph Street. So I implore anybody trolling me, let's meet in person. We might be friends. Let's be friends, not enemies, you know. You see how many people in Chicago give me shout outs here, because it's hard to walk around the streets here. I was acting like a crazy person around the charity. People asking for charity on the streets there. That was my coping mechanism. Here, but this is called Bizarre Meats. This is Bizarre Meats here. Jose Andres is the celebrity chef here. There's always millionaires and billionaires here eating all the stock people that used to be on the Board of Trade, which the algorithms just buy, robots buy and sell. They don't even have to, they make money either way. You know, the president makes a tweet, they're making money. They're on the inside. We're on the outside. Here's the Randolph Street. Wabash here. We're waiting to cross the street here. Got to wait for the left turns there. But look at the top of the Sears Tower. It's the top of the Sears Tower. There's security clouds there. Yeah, Christopher knows what it's like. Christopher walks the mean streets of New York City there. Check out Christopher Dotson there on YouTube. And I walk the mean streets of Chicago. But I'm not the only one. We got a lot more live streamers in Chicago, which helps out. And thanks for tuning in. There's the pink line heading across there. If we head over here, we might be able to catch it crossing the river here. Oh wow, here comes a Wendella boat there. Look at that. Oh, yeah, look at that view. We got the water taxi and the train there. Look at that. So here, let's make a mad dash across the street here. So we'll check out the River Walk later this week here. Trying to get across the street here. And here's Wacker Drive. What time we got? Yeah, 12:43. I better start heading back. We'll cut straight down. We'll cross. We'll head to the south side of Randolph. No, we'll stay here because I want to show this underneath here. See how there's not a column? The structural engineers like to do this 155. It's not a column on the corner. We'll head under the. No one's sitting outside today because it's 49 degrees. Yeah, CENGIZ. Oh my God. Yeah, the power of the cantilever, you got it. Yeah, Mr. Sub. Remember watching it being built? Yeah, 2013. So here, we'll get it. We'll see what it looks like with the clouds here. TNA used to be over at Michigan Avenue, that red building, but they moved here and then it became the red building over on Wabash that you see from Michigan Avenue became Northern Trust. Here they got the little AstroTurf here. Again, if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We got about 49 degrees. This is just my lunchtime loop walk here. And so there's that view. There's that view to the Sears Tower. We'll get it when we cross the street here. This is Franklin Street. We're just waiting for the light to change. And we're on Randolph at Franklin here. And we're looking south here. There we go. We got the light here, so we'll cross the street there. We'll keep focused on the Sears Tower there. So I hope you're having a good Monday here. Thanks to my mods and everybody. See, again, no column on the corner. No column on the corner. You can look up to the Merchandise Mart. It's kind of like the Citicorp building in New York City. But this is Chicago, Randolph Street. We'll head by the Cadillac Palace Theater here. Hey, there, horns aplenty. So I heard news that because the president bought the Kennedy Center there in District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., that they're canceling the Hamilton because I guess it's too woke for the president. He doesn't like Hamilton, even though it's pretty popular and still makes money. And so Chicago's going to benefit. Hamilton's going to come back to Chicago because the president bought the Kennedy Center and they canceled it. So Chicago, we benefit because you know why? Hamilton brings a lot of tourists from Chicago and to Chicago just to see that. So thanks for helping us out there. We'll take it. We'll take the Hamilton. We did. Remember they had that thing at Northern Ireland? They had a whole museum there. People would go see Hamilton. They would go to Northern Ireland to go to the Hamilton Museum. So maybe they'll bring that back here. And Chicago's population is stabilizing. For years we've been losing population, but just like Detroit and Chicago, we're slowly getting a few people back, and we're stabilizing, which is great. So we got to stay ahead of Houston there. Here's Hotel Allegro. But there's no way Houston's going to catch us with this metro. It's just the city population. You know, and Houston's annexed a bunch of land in the last recent decades. Houston and Dallas and Austin still have explosive growth. Their growth rate is like 20%. Yeah, it's amazing how many people are still moving. But you see the traffic congestion. Positive, negatives, everything. Hey, thanks for tuning in. There's the Cadillac Palace here. There goes the train. It sounds like the train's heading through here. Hey, Tina Turner, 1 week only here. So yeah, Tina Turner's the musical is at the Cadillac Palace here, and this is on Randolph Street in between LaSalle and Wells Street. There's City Hall. Yeah, JV, how you doing there? What's happening in your neck of the woods there? Istanbul? Yeah. Oh, look at La Casina. Yeah, La Casina. It's on Wells there. Yeah, thanks for recommending a good, authentic Mexican food there. La Casina there, yeah. So here's the side of the Thompson Center. Let's check it out here. So the curtain wall's going up here. This is LaSalle Street side. See how you can look down to the Board of Trade here. Here's City Hall. And we'll go right by here. We'll cross the street. We're waiting for the light to change. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got at least 6 stories of the glass curtain wall here. And we'll cross the street so we can see this better when we walk by here. So here's LaSalle Street. We'll get a good view of the Board of Trade as we did earlier. Here's the Cadillac Palace here. Thanks for tuning in. Loop of Chicago here. And we'll go by the Chicago Theater. We'll head by State Street on our way back here. There's the train. There. So we'll get the Cadillac Palace there with the Wells Street. There's the Brown Line train there heading south. So here we'll get this nice view of the Board of Trade here, looking down the South Street here. This used to be the financial heart of Chicago. I said used to be because a lot of it's electronic now. We don't have all the commodities traders with the multicolored blazers and numbers and hand open outcry. It's all been replaced by algorithms and computers and AI. But we still got the Mercantile Exchange, which is the largest futures market in the world still. Here's the Thompson Center. Used to be the State of Illinois building. Here's the City Hall. But they're redoing this. It's going to be a Google offices here. We got Google offices in the West Loop. They're going to put Google offices in there. See, they're working on it here. And this is a major redevelopment project. It used to be Hellman Jan. Hellman Jan was the architect of this. It was really controversial when it was built because it went over budget because of the blue glass and that giant atrium that never heated or cooled well. So hopefully what Google is investing in it will help remediate the problems here and extend the life cycle of this building. Here's City Hall. This is Randolph Street, Chicago, Illinois. How you doing here? 121 LaSalle Street, North LaSalle. One side's the Cook County building, the other side's the, see, one side's the Cook County, the other side's the City Hall. Takes up the whole block. But there's, this used to be the Thompson Center, State of Illinois building. Now it's going to be the new Google here. They're going to replace the food court in the lower level. It connects to all the kinds of transit, namely the Blue Line to O'Hare, and you can transfer to the Loop, all the trains that go around the Loop there in Chicago. Yeah, beautiful architecture. That's okay. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for saying hello there. I know people got stuff to do here. We got 1251 here. We'll head back to State Street. There's the train. Look at that construction elevator going up there. Scenes of the city. They're working on the Thompson Center. This giant atrium here. So Daily Plaza. Yeah, let's just cruise by Daily Plaza really quickly. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Sometimes they got musicians and sometimes they're playing copyrighted music, which is fine. It hurts my when I post this after I'm finished live streaming, I get docked by Google because of lawyers, and I understand they don't want me publishing copyrighted music without going through them. They got a monopoly on it. Here's the City Hall. Remember the Blues Brothers? Yeah. And there's the Thompson Center there. This is Clark Street. And here's Daily Plaza here. Yeah, there's a few people here. They're supposed to have some live music. We'll come back here on Thursday and Friday. Thursday, they're supposed to have a farmer's market here. And Friday, they're going to have food trucks. They already started it last Friday. Yeah, they got some live music here. So live music's fine. Live music's fine because it's a performance. It's not recorded, you know. I'm recording it. So here, Daily Plaza here. Got some live music. Yeah. 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 How you doing? Yeah, dancing. Yeah, the fountain's on. There's Channel 2 News. Yeah. Shut up and dance with me. I think that band's from Cincinnati. Yeah. That's great. So here's, yeah, we got live music here at Daily Plaza here. And we'll head back to Randolph here, and we'll go up to State Street here. Yeah, this is Chicago. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. This is Daily Plaza. That was the Picasso statue there. Daily Plaza is one of the center plazas in the middle of the loop here. And this is a courthouse, Cook County Courthouse. Cook County is the county that Chicago's within. One of the largest court districts outside of LA County. LA County is probably the largest because the way New York is broken up into the boroughs there. But Cook County is like 6 million people. So I'm always doing jury duty, because you can imagine the amount of court cases that happen within a jurisdiction that large in this city with all the crime. And here's looking south on Dearborn here. Here's the Netherlander. There's the elevated train tracks there.
See how that goes.
So here's the Netherlander Theater here. And we'll head underneath it there. And then there's the Goodman Theater here. See the Palace Theater, we saw the Palace. Here's the Goodman Theater, and then we'll go underneath the Netherlander Theater, which used to be originally was the Iroquois Theater, then it became the Oriental, now they call it the Netherlander, and then we'll go to State Street and we'll go by the Chicago Theater. And here's the Cambria Hotel. This is block 37. And hey, look at that. Hey, you go to Garrett's Popcorn here. There's Garrett's Popcorn all over. You can order it online. You don't have to wait in line here. Yeah, this is Mael. How you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Taco, thanks for being on. Hope you had a good weekend there, Taco. Celebrating 25 years of Broadway in Chicago. And like I said, I heard Hamilton might be coming back to Chicago because it's leaving Washington, D.C. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Here's the Blick. Yeah, this beautiful, there, look at that marquee there and the Blick there. This used to be a German beer garden back in the Century Progress there, 1933 World's Fair, and they moved it downtown there. And there used to be a German restaurant like Burkoffs. Or no, it was just a beer garden. It was like a bar, I guess, when they re-legalized alcohol after Prohibition. But hey, there it is. There's the Chicago Theater. So hey, thanks for tuning in here. We're back to State Street here. We'll go by the Chicago Theater there. And hey, graduation photos. We've been seeing graduation photos. So you get your graduation photos in front of the Chicago Theater. We saw people doing it in front of the Wrigley Building. This is another popular spot for graduation photos this time of year. Congratulations to all the graduates here. This is great. And there, Nikki Glazer, Vince Gill, Matt Matthews. I thought it said Dave Matthews, but it's Matt Matthews. And Glass Animals, upcoming shows here at the Chicago Theater. Thanks for tuning in here. We got 1256, 49 degrees. There's the Torture Museum. Yeah, Grim Evil's got some good photos of the Torture Museum, which is right next to the Chicago Theater there. Yeah, Monday through Friday. Yeah, usually at lunchtime, weekdays, when I'm working, if I'm working from the office downtown, or even on Friday, we went up to Wrigleyville. If you missed that, the Crosstown series with the White Sox and Cubs there, we walked around. And there's the Chicago Theater there. State Street. The tulips are over on State Street. They bloomed on State Street much earlier than Michigan Avenue, so the tulips are over. They were good while they lasted. That's why we filmed them so much when they were going. Seattle, how you doing there? Zoom Patrol. Oh, you'll be in Chicago for Cubs versus Mariners. That's great, Zoom Patrol. How you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. So here we'll cross the State Street. You ever watch Major Hustler? Tim, he live streams on TikTok in Seattle there. He's a pretty TikTok famous live streamer there. But you might not be on TikTok, which I understand. Thanks for being on YouTube. That's why I'm on YouTube, just like him. Him and I have had conversations about YouTube, about having it as a way to diversify out of TikTok. But it's harder. But we got 122 people watching, which is great. And here we're underneath the Lake Street elevated tracks. You're just waiting for the light to change. There we got the light. So we'll cross here. And there you see the State Street underneath here. And we'll just head down Lake Street and head back to work here. And then we got this nice view to the Marina Towers. The Chicago River's that way. So we'll check out the River Walk either tomorrow or certainly on Wednesday. Maybe we'll try to catch another bridge lift there. They lift the Vascular bridges on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and we've been catching it on Wednesdays. We caught it last Wednesday and even Saturday. There's all the train lines you can catch here, State and Lake. Hey, La Tacos Gutierrez. Got the, and again on Friday they'll have a bunch of food trucks there on Daily Plaza where we were just at, where the band was at, and they should have food trucks. And Thursday should have a farmer's market there. So yeah, nothing lasts. But hey, Cubs versus Mariners in June. That'll be nice. We'll look forward to that. Ron, how you doing there? Yeah, State Street Bridge is closed in November. Thanks for the good information there, Easton. Yeah. Yeah, positive, negatives, everything. That's what we always say. Thanks for understanding there's cons and pros. The world's a complex place. People always try to get me to rank things the best and worst, and I don't look at the world that way. I look at the world, even something is the best, it always could be improved. And here we'll head across here. We're back to Wabash and Lake here. We got the light Virgin Hotels. We'll get an amazing view to the Trump Tower here to the left. We'll see at the top. Yeah, the top's not in the clouds. It was this morning. Just like the Sears Tower, it was scraping the clouds. So there's underneath Wabash, underneath the elevated train tracks here, the loop, and there's the Trump Tower. Across the river there, this is Wabash. It lines up with Wabash, both sides of the street. Here's the Virgin Hotels. They got the lifts back out. And we'll head over to Michigan Avenue here, 1 o'clock. But hey, thanks everybody for tuning in for our lunch walk here. Thanks for letting me vent about the charity people on the street there. It's one of my pet peeves, as people know. Then we'll run into them again on Michigan Avenue all summer long there and see if I can maintain my composure better. It's not the panhandlers, it's the charity people. Everybody's asking for money. Money, money, money. Here's, yeah, look at this beautiful detail. 70 East Lake Street, Garland and Lake. There you see the Prudential building there. Here comes the train here. Watch the green line head around here. So yeah, the Gallaghers you're talking about, Shameless. On TikTok, we've gone to the Shameless house, which is 21st and Homeland. 21st and Homeland. It's in Lawndale. It's on the west side. I know in the show it was set in back of the yards. It was on the south side, but the real house that they used for the Gallaghers, we filmed it there. Shameless. It was a show on Showtime. We filmed V's house. We even filmed Sheila's house, which is a couple streets over there. And here we'll wait to cross Michigan Avenue here, and we'll get you a nice view of the Wrigley building, and then we'll sign off here. So yeah, it's nothing but a hassle. Christopher, yeah, how you doing there? Oh yeah, New York City. I know, that's what, you know, I was trying to explain, Christopher, that, you know, good people like you that live in New York City or the metro area there, you probably avoid Times Square unless you have, and everybody likes you. They're probably like, go to Times Square, and you're like, real New Yorkers don't hang out in Times Square, you know. And it's just like, I get it with O Block, you know. It's like I'm just like circling around O Block all day long there, you know. It's funny what people sticks in people's minds. But here we'll wait to cross the street here. We'll get you this nice view. Look at the clouds going across the John Hancock there. So here we got the light here. We'll cross here looking north on Michigan Avenue. But hey, have a good rest of your Monday there. We'll be back on TikTok after 5 there. We'll walk home and we'll battle the trolls there. And thanks to my mods, and thanks for tuning in here on YouTube. You can watch the full rerun on the live tab there on YouTube, Brian Really Chicago. And I'm on TikTok, same name there. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, and we'll see you tonight. Okay? Thanks a lot, everybody. See you, Christopher, Krista, Dolores, and Taco. See, the other person, I won't say your name there because, you know, you got to pick a better name there so I could say your name there. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. Thanks a lot, everybody. Yeah, 125 people. You guys are great. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Michael.